Hello everyone and welcome back to another Division preview for the Man of Steel DLC coming out for Steel Division 2 relatively soon, as we this time go into the 715th Infantry, a division situated in Italy in 1944 and also including a lot of Italian forces, and it is my favorite division. And guys, if you have a favorite division and you want to play it a bit more and you want to play it a bit more competitive, then we have the perfect tournament for you guys. The single division tournament coming up, and we have 32 spots in it. A couple of spots still open. It's gonna start next week, so be fast. And the way it works is you just sign up with your favorite division, and you get in there, and you just play that division non-stop. Nobody can ban it away from you. You're just gonna enjoy it. And yeah, see you all there, guys. I will be joining the tournament as well. I will post my videos here with it as well. So yeah, let's go into the 715th. 715th is an interesting division for sure. As you can see, pretty well-rounded. Only anti-air is a bit of an issue. And it has quite a lot of cool units from Germany and Italy. And it already starts in the Recon tab. As you get BMWs, not so special. You get Aufklärer, sadly without any special transports. SPW 204, the Panhard already. Quite nice. It's the 25mm version though, so it's the weaker version of the two, but it only costs you 15 points now, and it has an MG as well. Can penetrate at least all the half-tracks and so on, so you can spam this quite a bit. What is stronger here though is the AS42s. You get 3 of them in A phase on 1-star veterancy. This is a 25-point AA Recon anti-ground autocannon with a bit of armor, so it can't be hit by enemy light stuff. And all of this, obviously, yeah, still work in progress, so we sadly still don't have any information text about the commanders and so on, but we will get that soon. And yeah, the AS42 here, quite the nice little vehicle. I'm always a fan. Panzer 4, the Panzer 2F here, same price. Similar autocannon, similar MG, trades the AA capability, obviously, and the speed against armor, and gets a bit more availability, which is nice as well, but I would take both of those. And then I would also take the next unit that we get up here, which is going to be the Decima Esploratori, and this thing is quite nice. Only comes in B, which is its biggest weakness, also only comes in the Dwunkwe, which is still terribly slow, but it's 8 Berettas, TNT, Recon, and Commander. So this thing really shreds. You get some Fusiliers as well. So if you want to have 4 cards, I would recommend taking these maybe in A, or some normal Aufklärers, and then Decima in B phase. Or take 1 Decima in B and 1 Decima in C phase, and take the AS42 and Panzers in A, and just have those kind of Recon units. Like, this unit here is fantastic. Great CQC unit, 25 points, gets your TNT, gets your commando trade. This absolutely shreds. And then in the infantry tab, we start with the Grenadier with MG34s, the 15V disheartened Grenadiers here, which is not that great, but you get them in pretty good availability. That's the one good thing about them. Obviously, you pay the same price as for normal Grenadiers, and you get disheartened. Still a 9-man squadron, that's all not fantastic, but they have some decent long range, and they come with good numbers, so that's maybe a reason there. Pioneer Führer, decent as always. And then we come to some more fancy units here. We already had the Decima Esploratori, now we have the Blue Decima in the Italian tree here. And these guys come with a MG42, they come with 7 Berettas, they come with an anti-tank grenade, they come actually a pretty good number for a unit with this many Berettas and MG42s as well. So yeah, these guys for sure don't shy away from a fight, and you get them in good amounts. Issue once more here, the Wunkwe truck is not that great. You get this a similar version, but you are locked here to veterancy. Also, this version gets you Beretta, the Decima Arditi. Beretta obviously better in CQC if you want to really rush into the frontline fight. That gives you good firepower in 100-meter range as well. And it's also, 2 of them are pretty comparable to an MG42 on the long range, so I would usually recommend you taking this card first, for sure, but you have multiple cards of Decima. If you really want to get a lot of them, you can get a lot of them, and they get good firepower in all ranges, especially at 150-meter range, where the MG42 still can fire. If the enemy runs into you there with the commando trait and all, this thing absolutely shreds. It's a fantastic infantry unit. The commando unit of them, not so great. Gets radio, gets commander, gets smoke, gets Panzerfaust. So it's decent utility. Availability is actually quite fine. Price is a bit higher though, and you only have 3 hit points. The Fiat transport also only mediocre. Still better than the Grenadier Führer for sure, as you get the commando and you get the Panzerfaust. You got low availability than the Grenadier Führer though. That's for sure one thing to consider, but it's a pretty solid leader here. Luftwaffe Jäger, pretty interesting unit. As these guys come with SVTs. They are fanatical, actually, compared to other Luftwaffe years, which obviously were always pretty trash. These are some special guys here. They come with fanatical, they come with AT grenade, and they come with MG34. SVT plus MG34 gets them pretty decent mid-range firepower, so goes nicely with these guys as your mid-range firepower guy. Then you get Pioneers here with Disheartened. And they are not as good as the Ersatz Pioneer here in availability. The numbers, you'd only get 8 instead of 12 compared to Ersatz Grenadiers, which we saw lately. But that's still more than normal Pioneers, so you still get more there. With the Decima Exploratory as your TNT unit, I'm not sure if you want to have these guys. The Decima over there, already pretty nice. Not sure if you want up these Pioneers 15 way too much. Panzergrenadier Führer, a bit lackluster as well. Always have been around. They at least have 5 hit points. But the smoke is nice, but it's 25 points. Radio, pretty helpful as well. And then you get some Panzergrenadier 1941 with 12 hit points. And that is obviously pretty cool for Panzergrenadiers. They come with MG34s, so they have a bit less firepower than the Panzergrenadiers that we're used to nowadays. But the extra 2 hit points is quite nice. That's a big weakness of Panzergrenadiers, and obviously there's also Panzergrenadiers with with MG34s already, and these guys are just better than this. And the extra 2 hit points and for this long-range unit mean that you really have a good long-range unit here that can take some fire. You get version with Panzerbüchse 39 as well, which I would kind of mix here, I guess. Panzerbüchse pretty helpful against half-tracks and so on, and you have a good amount of Panzerfaust on the other units already, so you have decent mid-range, decent long, like pretty good long range, and pretty good CQC up here, which can help out in the mid range as well. So this infantry tab, in my eyes, is a lot of fun, and it's pretty strong as well. So this division there can already go places. And then we go on to the tank tab, where you don't have the most slots, but what you get is quite nice. I like Tigers in the current build, in the current deck. They're game. They're quite nice nowadays for their price. And yeah, they have good armor, obviously. Enemy needs something that can pen them. Stux, obviously always a nice workhorse, and the P40 is a fantastic tank. The 1750 meter range on its main gun, together with 90 penetration, means that it can kill all the light tanks from long range, can even deal with T-34 in long range, and against Shermans, against the Sherman ones and co, the 90mm ones, it can be dangerous there as well, and even if they get closer, this thing stays competitive there. Decent availability here as well, and it also has a decent rate of fire, but really the range is its one advantage for a 45-point tank. And in Vorfallpina they're already pretty good, but they're the top end here. Here they are your low end tank, and that is fitting them really well in my eyes. Having a cheap 1750 meter range tank is really, really cool. Support tab, quite nice as well, including really good availability on Borg wards. You can have up to 16 Borg wards if you take them in B phase, and then you can really blow things up. Absolute fun in team games. In 1v1, if you start with 8 of them and rush them towards the enemy, it can be quite interesting as well. The small mortars here, not really recommended. You get some MG34. Yeah, you get some MG42s as well, some IGs, some Obitzes. So decent support tab there already. IG-33s and Sturmpanzers down below as well. This support tab has basically everything you need as a German support tab. With the long range 2000 meter range HE, some MGs and some shorter range Borg ward on top. Commanders, pretty standard. You get a tank version with the Stuk, get some BMWs and a Commandant. So this is really a solid support up as well. Good slot availability here too. So this is another nice, cool thing about the deck. And the anti-tank tab doesn't let you off there. This also has everything you need. You have really big boys with the elephants, great frontal armor, second best frontal armor in the game, great penetration, on the top end with the 88 there, obviously. And yeah, you get 2 cards of these. Fitting 2 in is a bit tough, so I would recommend going for 1. I can take them in A, B, or C. 1, 2, 4 availability there, so that's nice as well. You get the monitors as cheap anti-tank, which really helps out with this a bit more expensive otherwise tank tab, and fits in nicely. The cheap anti-tank gun if you want to. The Pak 38 and the Pak 40 always combine nicely as well, so really a good amount of choices. And if you take 5, like this, you have perfect anti-tank tab. Panzerschreck here on top as well if you want to, but this anti-tank tab is really all you need in a German anti-tank tab. Anti-air is the lackluster one, but even there, it's not completely terrible. Like Flak 36 plus Flak Feeling gets you at least somewhat far. You only can take the Flak Feeling in A, so you gotta take them there, and then I guess the Flak 36 have to do in B phase, but they get you somewhat okay through the enemy air. And then artillery, once more, quite versatile, including some Lorraines here. You get some Mercer 220mm guns from the French, pretty inaccurate, obviously lower rate of fire, but this thing can hit quite hard. You get some bigger Warheart 49mm artillery pieces as well from the Italians. Rate of fire here still pretty low though, not the biggest fan of those. You get some Soviets A19s, which are decent artillery for 95 points. Can even get some good AP shells here. Basically your IS-2 1943 gun. And then 120mm mortars, obviously not that great. Obitzes here, pretty decent. These Obitze Italian artillery pieces, 6 rate of fire. You get HE shells. The heat shell is negligible. It has 10 damage at least, but you don't want to use that with 20 accuracy. But it's pretty affordable. It has radio. Obviously the cheap Obitze here with 7 rate of fire, always good as well. You sadly only get both of these in B, but artillery type, still pretty good choices here. Nothing of this is amazing, but all of this is pretty fun. And then in the air tab, we get Ju-88 C6, we get Ju-88 D1 as your recon plane. Currently still in great availability. Obviously prices here went up a bit, but they're still pretty nice. BF-109 G6 coming around nicely, can hit quite hard. Being forced on 2-star veteran team means that the availability is a bit low, but it's a decent fighter. Air tap in general, pretty decent. A6 Focke-Wulfs, which have the issue that they have bad resilience, but firepower here is fantastic. Focke-Wulf G3 with bad resilience and decent firebomber, but the bad resilience once more hurts. And the Sparvero, the SM-79s are solid bombers. I would go for the 100 kilogram bomb one. The cluster bomber one is not that great, but the 115.1 here is pretty solid. And the Doe 217 with 8 250 kilogram bombs, a decent bomber as well. Actually pretty good availability for that payload. So the K1 bomber here, decently fast, goes around places as well. And that really leaves you with a deck that can do it all. In all phases, not as heavily phase restricted as what we saw before. Still some restrictions there, but obviously, for example, here on the Tigers, unrestricted. Like some units that run out, you only can take an A. Some you only come in a B here, like the Decima. But you can go on with the Panzer Grenadiers and Co. beforehand. And you have some nice utility everywhere. You have the 2000 meter range, you have the Borgwarts. Like, this has a lot of potential for being a fun deck in every situation. 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, up to 10v10. Highly recommended playing this deck when it comes around. 715 sounds like a lot of fun, and I for sure will play it quite a bit. And yeah, with that said, I hope to see you in the next one, guys. Thanks for watching, and don't forget about the tournament. Have a nice day.